the study of fluids in motion without considering the forces acting on the fluid during the motion. So what we will be studying then? In fluid kinematics, we will cover velocity, acceleration, means pure motion parameters. There are two types of approaches used in studying fluid kinematics, and one approach that is called Lagrangian approach. See, this is it. Lagrangian approach. And this is one approach, let's say one. And the second one is Eulerian approach. See, while writing, you write E-U-L-E-R, Euler, but the pronunciation is Euler. So this is based on his principles. Euler, the great mathematician and scientist. So Eulerian approach. See, out of this, basically in engineering, Eulerian approach, that is more important. In fact, Eulerian approach is used by engineers. Tracking individual fluid particles, see, it's not an easy task, it's a cumbersome task. So if you track the individual fluid particles during the motion and then the flow is analyzed, then such study will come under Lagrangian approach. Eulerian approach is quite different. See, that is, we will concentrate on certain points or certain sections in the flow field. And as the flow passes through such points or sections, we will analyze the flow behavior and the flow characteristics, and the required analysis is done based on that. So we will not consider the fluid particles, like individual fluid particles. We will not consider the motion of individual fluid particles as they move along the path, their trajectory. So we will come to that later, like flow lines, path lines, streak lines, stream lines. There are such concepts for tracking the fluid particle during the motion. So we will only consider the certain point and certain sections in the flow field, and as the fluid particles pass along that section or pass through that point, we will analyze its flow behavior. Such an approach is called Eulerian approach, whereas Lagrangian approach is that study is conducted by analyzing the motion of individual fluid particles. So that is really a tedious task, and both the approaches are required for the study of fluid motion in some cases. But basically, for conducting the studies like flow of a fluid through a pipe, closed conduit, or flow of a fluid through a channel, so such cases, so we will be depending on the Eulerian approach. Okay, so there are two approaches used in studying the fluid motion. And I told you about fluid kinematics. In fluid kinematics, what do we study? We study the fluid motion parameters, pure motion parameters, like what? Velocity, acceleration, etc. So how do you express the velocity of a fluid particle? And before that, let me tell you, there are various aspects in fluid flow. We will classify the fluid flow also later on. And we have one-dimensional, 1D, two-dimensional, 2D flow, then three-dimensional, which is the generalized one, three-dimensional. So three-dimensional, so we have various mathematical systems to represent, or mathematical coordinate systems to represent such type of flows. So if you use Cartesian coordinates, coordinate system. Cartesian coordinates means what? Like in school classes, X, Y, So basically we use 2D in analytical geometry, we use X coordinate, Y coordinate. If it is 2D, and if it is 3-dimensional, then we use Z coordinate also. So rectangular coordinate system, X, Y, and Z. So if you use Cartesian coordinate system, that is X, Y, Z system, rectangular coordinates system to represent 3D flow, 3-dimensional flow. So what does it mean? 3-dimensional flow means, like, if you consider the velocity components of a fluid particle, see that has motion with respect to X direction, Y direction, and Z direction. So the velocity components, there are 3 components for the resultant velocity. So the 3-dimensional flow in a 3D flow field. So in such case, we have all the 3 velocity components exist. 3 components means what? In Cartesian coordinate system, X component of velocity, Y component of velocity, and Z component of velocity. See, the X component of velocity is U, Y component of velocity is V, and Z component of velocity is W. And then what about the resultant velocity? See, the resultant velocity is represented by, let us say, capital letter V. See this? Velocity is a vector. It has got magnitude as well as direction. So V is equal to X component U, and in Cartesian coordinate systems, you know how to represent a vector like xi plus yj plus zk. So similarly, here X component of velocity is U. So you write ui. See, I hat or I cap, you know, this is a unit vector. I is a unit vector in the X direction. And Vj, see, V is the velocity component in Y direction, and J is the unit vector in the Y direction, and K, that is unit vector in the Z direction. So if you represent the resultant velocity of a fluid particle at a point in the vector form, it will be Ui plus Vj, Ui plus Vj plus Wk. Okay, so like this we will represent. And what about the resultant velocity? See, the resultant velocity is represented by, magnitude of resultant velocity. Magnitude of resultant velocity, see, modulus of V. How do you find out? If you have X component of velocity, Y component, Z component, then so we will take the square root of, we will take the squares and then take the sum and then take the square root. Okay, so sum of the squares of the 3 components of velocity, sum of the squares, U square, then V square, W square, we take the sum and then take the square root. So we will get magnitude. So in vector form, the resultant velocity V is represented by Ui plus Vj plus Wk, and its modulus or its magnitude mathematically we will represent by square root of U square plus V square plus W square. So you should be familiar with this, you know, the Cartesian coordinates, essentially the components of velocity in X, Y, and Z, 3 rectangular directions that will be, see, coordinate system means it's like this. So if you have X direction horizontal, say Y direction and Z direction, Y direction, see, it's 3D platform, we represent like this, X, Y, they are perpendicular to one another, and the third one. So the third one is Z direction. Okay, this one, this is Z. Let's say Z is vertical. So horizontal X, horizontal plane, we have X and Y, and all the 3 directions are mutually perpendicular. I mean perpendicular to one another. So this in Cartesian coordinate system, you have the components. So U will be along X axis. See, U will be along this direction, and V will be along this direction. See, V, and Z will be along, W will be along Z direction. So these are the 3 velocity components. Okay, and if you have individually a fluid particle, it may have the components. See, the idea is like this, and later on we will represent flow lines or streamlines. And while plotting streamlines in a flow field, let's say this is the, let's say, a streamline, and we consider a point. Let's say this is a point, fluid particle. Okay, so the fluid particle, say P, at the point P, and its velocity components can be represented like this, So this is in the x direction, so that is u, and in the y direction, let's say v, and z direction you have the component w, and the resultant. So because of the resultant velocities, it's tracing the path like this. So it's a 3D flow field. So when you represent a 3-dimensional flow field, this is a situation. That is a generalized case of fluid flow, 3D flow field. So typically we call it 3-dimensional flow field. So the velocity components are like this. But important task is this u, v, and w will depend on what? Say this u is a function of what? So even though u is the velocity component in the x direction, u is a function of x, y, z, and then we can have one more. One more means time dependence may be there. See, that what you should understand or what you should keep in mind is every variable we come across may be a function of x, y, z. Those three are called space coordinates. And then one more coordinate we have. What is that? Time. So x, y, z, and time. And similarly, the y component of velocity v, even if that has got the direction in y, essentially in the y direction, it is along the y direction. Even then, it can depend on all the, the other space coordinates and the time. So v is a function of, it can be x, y, z, and time. So mathematically we represent like this. Okay, please take a note of this. And w in the general flow field, even though that is in the z direction, it can be a component. Its value can depend on x, y, and z, and time. See, not only z, it can be influenced by the other space coordinates also. So what is the total change in the flow velocity then? See, for example, if you consider u, and if you want to take the total change in the velocity u, du, so how do you express it? So we take the help of differential calculus. So du will be, we take the sum of 4 partial derivatives. 4 partial derivatives. Why 4? Because u is dependent on x, y, z, and time. So therefore we can have 4 variations to arrive at the total variation in the velocity component u. So how do you write? We will represent by using partial derivatives, not total derivative. Total derivative is du or absolute derivative. So du, the total change in u is equal to sum of 4 partial variations in u. Means partial variation with respect to x, partial variation of u with respect to y, partial variation of u with respect to z, and partial variation of u with respect to time. We'll write like this. So dou u by dou x. What is that? Variation of u with respect to x, partial variation, over infinitesimal displacement in x direction, that is dx. So when the fluid particle passes through a small distance dx, variation in u with respect to x, അതാണ് ഇവിടെ indicate ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്. And this you should understand. Okay, so dou u by dou x into dx, and then the second one is dou u by dou y. Dou u by dou y, that is variation of u with respect to y, partial variation of u in the y direction over an infinitesimal displacement in the y direction of the fluid particle. Okay, so dy, and then let the fluid has a displacement in the z direction given by dz. Then over that that small displacement, what is the variation of u with respect to z? That is partial derivative dou u by dou z, or you can call del u by del z. And then with respect to time, so with respect to time, it is variation of u with respect to time, dou u by dou t or del u by del t over an infinitesimal time interval dt. So here you have dx, displacement in x direction, dy, displacement in y direction, and dz, displacement in z direction of the fluid particle during the time dt. And then these are the variations in u alone. See, this is, we are talking about x component of velocity only. If this is the total change in u, total change in u is sum of the partial variations in x direction, y direction, z direction, and the variation with respect to time. And if you add all these, you will get the total variation or absolute derivative du. And now you will find out the acceleration in x direction. So that is, let us say ax, a suffix x. A suffix x, you know what is that? It is du by dt. See, this is total derivative. It's not partial, it is total. So the total change, absolute derivative of, not partial derivative, I repeat, absolute derivative of u with respect to time. So du by dt. So what you can do is, this du, we got an expression already. This, let it be equation number 1. So from this equation 1, you substitute du over here. So what do you get? What do you get? So each term should be divided by dt. See, please be very careful. Dou u, very careful in writing the expression. Dou u by dou x into dx is over there. Now it is divided by dt. Then plus second term. What about the second term? Dou u by dou y into dy. That is already there in expression 1, second term. Now that divided by dt. See, what we are doing is, we have 4 terms in the expression for du, and we are dividing each term by dt. Okay, this plus. And what about the third term? It is dou u by dou z into dz. That is already there, and we are going to divide that term also by dt. Now what about the fourth term? Dou u by dou t, that is already there, into dt. That much is already there. Now we are going to divide this by dt. So each term in expression 1, that is expression for du, must be divided by what? Dt. So why do we do that? Because we want to get du by dt. What for? Because we want to get the acceleration of the fluid particle in the x direction. Now from elementary engineering mechanics, you know what is dx by dt? What is dy by dt? See this? And what is dz by dt? What is that? If a fluid particle has displacements dx, dy, dz during the time dt, then what is dx by dt? That is nothing but the velocity component in the x direction. So this dx by dt is nothing but it is velocity u itself. Okay, so that's very important. This is u, and dy by dt, this is velocity v, and dz by dt, that is the velocity component w. And the fourth dt by dt, obviously dt by dt will be cancelled. And then what is remaining? So what is our conclusion? The acceleration of the fluid particle in the x direction ax is equal to, what is that? Dx by dt is u. So we will write that first. Okay, so we will write u first, then that is dx by dt into partial derivative dou u by dou x. See, please be very careful in writing down these expressions. And it's very simple, some mathematical perspective, you know. So we are adding to fluid kinematics. So u into dou u by dou x, simple basic part of differential calculus. So u into dou u by dou x, that is the first term now. And what about the second term? dy by dt is v. So therefore that is v into dou u by dou y. Okay. Then what about the third term? So dz by dt is equal to w. And that w multiplied by the partial derivative that is already there. What is that? Dou u by dou z. And what about the fourth term in the expression for ax? Dou u by dou t into dt by dt. dt by dt is cancelled. So what remains is dou u by dou t. Okay. See, this is the expression for ax. Now just I'll give you a task. You similarly you write down the expression for, what is that? Expression for ay, acceleration of the fluid particle, acceleration components of the fluid particle in y direction, and acceleration in the Z direction. Acceleration of the fluid particle in the Z direction. When it undergoes a small displacement, X direction designated by dx in X direction, dy in Y direction, dz in Z direction, and during the time interval, small time interval dt. Then the acceleration component ay, az also can be, can be written by considering what? V is a function. When you write down the acceleration in the Y direction, see what is acceleration in the Y direction? Ay is essentially dv by dt. dv by dt. But what about v? V is a function of not only y, but it depends on the other directions as well. So v is a function of x, y, z and time in a generalized flow field. Remember, we are talking about generalized flow field. General case. When you consider one dimensional, this may not be the case. But when you consider generalized flow field, even the velocity component in y direction can depend on x, y, z and time. Okay, not only y, the other space coordinate and time also. Remember, the space coordinates in Cartesian system are designated by x, y, z, and the time part is represented by small t. Okay, so what about dv now? See, dv, the sum of the four partial variations. See, I am leaving it to you. Actually, what is dv then? dv will be partial derivative of v with respect to x over the distance dx. See, similarly, similar to this expression, see this how we have written down du. Similarly, you can write dv also. Okay, see that you should do by yourself. Important thing is that, see, there is a systematic procedure followed in this, and so you have to follow that. And more than that, you can remember these relations like this. When you consider dv, inside the partial derivative, there will be only v. Okay, so dou v by dou x, dv will be equal to, see, I'm not writing that, so you can write by yourself. dv is equal to dou v by dou x into dx plus dou v by dou y into dy plus dou v by dou z into dz plus dou v by dou t into dt. See, inside the partial derivative, we have v alone. That means we are considering the partial variations in v in x direction, y direction, z direction, and during the time dt. Okay, so we will write like that. And then after getting dv, you divide each term by dt. See, like this. See how we have written ax, very well. So we got an expression for du as the sum of four partial variations, and we divided each term by dt. So similarly, after writing down the expression for dv, you will be getting four terms. Let it be equation number 2, and then divide each term by what? dt. And then what you can get is, so let me write down ay. Ay will be, see, u will be included even in that. So u will be there, but inside the partial derivative, there will be v alone, because we are referring to the acceleration component in y direction. So u into this will be dou v by dou x. Okay, then plus v into dou v by dou y, then plus w into dou v by dou z. Remember, inside the partial derivative, you have v alone. Okay, then plus dou u by dou t, that part, in ax, that will become now dou v by dou t. See, this is how you write that. And now the next one, the next az. How do you write that? u into dou w by, now inside the partial derivative, you will be having w alone. See, very important thing is, so when you write down v, you will get an expression containing four terms. Similarly, you can write down the expression for dw, and w is a function of what? Even though that is the velocity component in z direction, it can be influenced by the variations in x, y, and with respect to time also, in addition to the variation with respect to z. So w is a function of x, y, z and time. And then you can write down what is dw. dw sum of the 4 partial variations. Okay, then what about the acceleration component in z direction? Az will be what? dw, the total derivative of w with respect to time. dw by dt is absolute derivative of w, velocity component in z direction with respect to time. So that is Az. So once you have dw, then divide, that will contain 4 terms, as we have done in the case of du, then divide each term by dt. So in order to get the final expression, but in between, see u, the velocity component u, what will be that? That will be dx by dt. And what is the velocity component v? That is dy by dt. Okay. And what about w? W is dz by dt. Okay, so please make use of this. Make use of this strategy to get the acceleration component in the z direction. So what is that component? So let me write down u into dou w by dou x, then plus, what is the second term? V into, inside the partial derivative there will be w alone. So dou w by dou y, second term. And what about the third term? W multiplied by dou w by dou z. Okay, then the fourth part, the time dependent part, is dou w by dou t. So we have again 4 terms. Okay, so ax, ay and az. And out of this, let me tell you this part. See the first 3 terms in ax, ay and az. See the first 3 terms in ax, ay and az. Okay, see like this, the first 3 terms, and this one, these first 3 terms in ax, ay and az, that represents convective acceleration. See, very important term. So convective acceleration. So you may have a question, you may get a question like, what is convective acceleration of a fluid particle? What does it represent? What is the physical meaning of that? So convective acceleration of the fluid particle represented by the first 3 terms. What do you mean by that? Convective acceleration. See, convective means for the fluid particle, the velocity variations can take place in 2 different ways. I mean, because of 2 reasons. One is due to the change in position, and the other one is the velocity variation with respect to time. So convective acceleration of the fluid particles means it is the change in velocity of the fluid particle with respect to the change in position. Please note that variation in velocity due to the change in position, that is called convective acceleration. So convective acceleration is due to the change in velocity of the fluid particle due to change in position. And what is local acceleration? Local acceleration means the last part, the fourth term in the expression for ax, ay and az. See, let me mark it like this. This equation, see, this is first one, first Roman numeral 1, let me put it this way, and the second is this one, and the third one is this one. Okay, is this one, and in each, and in giving you ax, ay and az, and out of which the first 3 terms represents what? Convective acceleration components, respectively in x direction, y direction, z direction. And the fourth part, this one, see this last term, the fourth term in the expression. See, what does it represent? The fourth term in each of these expressions, ax, ay and az, represent local acceleration, local acceleration, or what? Local or temporal. Local or temporal acceleration component means with respect to time. So what is total acceleration? Now, see, we have a term, total acceleration, total acceleration. There are other names also. Please take a note of this. Total acceleration of a fluid particle at a point in a generalized flow field. So total acceleration, that is also called, there is another name for that, substantial, or this is also called substantial acceleration. Substantial acceleration or resultant acceleration, or sometimes this is also called material derivative, or this is also called, you know, since it is a material derivative, so we will this is also called material acceleration. Okay, material acceleration means total. So how do you get the total one? In vector form, the total acceleration, that's a vector. In vector form, it is x component is ax multiplied by the unit vector I hat in the x direction plus ay into j. J is the unit vector in y direction plus az k. So this is in Cartesian coordinates. See, there are other coordinate systems also, like cylindrical coordinates and spherical coordinates that you may come across in mathematics. And then in engineering, many occasions we have to use these other coordinate systems also. So ax I plus ayj plus azk is equal to a. Okay, this is in the vector form. But what about its magnitude? See, the magnitude of the resultant acceleration. How do you get it? It's very simple. So you have the three components. You take the square root of the sum of the squares. What is that? Ax square, ay square, and az square. Okay, so ax square, ay square, and az square. See, once you get it, ax, see, this is the material acceleration. This is what we generally follow for solving some numerical problems in fluid kinematics. So ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ചെയ്യേണ്ട ഒരു lecture ആണ് ഞാൻ അവിടെ തന്നിരിക്കുന്നത്. So in order to save time, you just go through that lecture. Okay, so I will post that in the WhatsApp group also. So please, without fail, you please go through that lecture, and that explains the part after this. ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ax, ay, az കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് ബാക്കി fluid classification ഒരു introduction ആണ്. Different types of flow, like 1-dimensional flow, 2-dimensional flow, 3-dimensional flow. Generalized case ആണ് 3-dimensional flow. Then steady flow and unsteady flow. Thereafter uniform flow and non-uniform flow. We have laminar flow, turbulent flow. Then we have compressible flow, incompressible flow. And we have pressureless flow and pressure flow or pressure driven flow. So, or gravity, the other one is gravity type of flow. Pressureless flow means gravity flow. So like then viscous flow, inviscous flow. So there are different flow classifications that also you should understand. Then ഓരോന്നിനും practical examples എഴുതാനും നമ്മളെ കൊണ്ട് കഴിയണം. ഇപ്പോൾ ഒരു particular case പറഞ്ഞിട്ട് അതിന് എക്സാമ്പിൾ പറഞ്ഞാൽ റൊട്ടേഷണൽ ഫ്ലോ ആൻഡ് ഇറൊട്ടേഷണൽ ഫ്ലോ അതേതാണ്, പ്രാക്ടിക്കലി അതെന്തിനാ റെപ്രസെന്റ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് എന്നൊക്കെ അറിയണം. ഇതിൽ രണ്ട് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ് ഉണ്ട്, മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ പെർസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് ഉണ്ട്, നമ്മുടെ കോമൺ സെൻസ് കൊണ്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഒരു ഫിസിക്കൽ ഇൻസൈറ്റ് കൊണ്ട് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാക്കി എടുക്കുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളും ഉണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഇത് രണ്ടും കൂടെ ഒരു കോമ്പിനേഷനിലായിരിക്കണം പോവേണ്ടത്. മാത്തമാറ്റിക്കൽ പാർട്ട് നമ്മൾ അറിയണം, അതിനോടൊപ്പം ഫിസിക്കൽ കോൺസെപ്റ്റും ക്ലിയർ ആയിരിക്കണം. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പം ഇത്രയാണ് എനിക്ക് പറയാനുള്ളത് ഈ ഒരു കേസിൽ. അപ്പൊ ഇത് വെച്ച് ഞാനത് വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാണ്. ഓക്കെ, ദെൻ താങ്ക് യു.